Welcome to all my late night mysteries listeners. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. In the dim corridors of life, where shadows play and silence speaks, lies a realm where the tangible and intangible intertwine. Today's episode invites us to explore the delicate balance between reality and the unseen, challenging our perceptions of existence and connection. It is within these quiet moments, when the veil between worlds is thinnest, that we discover the true nature of companionship, a force that transcends the boundaries of the physical world. As we delve into the mystery that unfolds, we are reminded that courage and empathy can light the way through the darkness, and the bonds we forge can endure even in the face of the unknown. Join us on a haunting journey that reveals the profound truth that our spirits are never truly alone, for they are forever woven into the fabric of those we hold dear. I am Wraith. This is Late Night Mysteries. You are listening to Listener's Tales Edition.
Disclaimer: this is a work of fiction. Any names, characters, businesses, places, events, or incidents are fictitious. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events is purely coincidence.
In the heart of the university town, in the western part of Singapore, nestled within a dormitory, our listener, Yanti, not her real name, found herself sharing a room with a roommate she rarely saw. The building had always seemed unsettling to Yanti, but the presence of a companion, even an elusive one, offered a semblance of comfort. What begins as an ordinary night of solitude quickly unravels into a haunting journey, revealing secrets that linger in the spaces between light and darkness. This is her story.
I used to live in a dorm at a well-known university town in the west of Singapore and always had a roommate whom I rarely saw. She always came back late at night, and I was the type to sleep early. Usually, when I was about to sleep, I would turn on the desk lamp so that when she returned, she wouldn't bump into things or trip over the carpet. I also felt comfortable with the light on, as it kept me company when I was alone in the room. Whenever my roommate returned, she would turn off the light because she preferred to sleep in the dark. I don't mind because by that time, I wasn't alone. Since the light switch was on the wall next to my bed, sometimes I would turn it off if I was still awake. I recall one night at 11 p.m. as I was engrossed in reading a book while lying on my stomach on the bed. I heard my roommate say, "Yanti, turn off the light." Without looking, I ignored it because I was in the middle of reading. I wasn't going to turn off the light, right? I just raised my hand to signal her to wait. I wanted to finish the last paragraph. Suddenly, a pale, thin hand with long fingernails crept over my shoulder and flipped the light switch. I panicked and jumped out of bed. In the darkness, I rushed to the door, but bumped into something hard. I heard a laugh that made my hair stand on end. "I told you to turn off the light," the voice whispered in my ear. Cold sweat drenched my forehead as I groped for the doorknob. As I struggled to find the doorknob, the laughter seemed to echo around the room, bouncing off the walls in a chilling symphony of terror. My heart pounded in my chest, each beat a thunderous drum that only added to my fear. Finally, my fingers found the cool metal of the doorknob, and I twisted it desperately, throwing the door open. The dimly lit hallway offered little comfort, but it was better than the suffocating darkness behind me. I stumbled out, my breath ragged, my mind racing to understand what just happened. I turned back, expecting to see my roommate, but the room was empty. The bed was neatly made, and there was no sign of anyone having been there. The lamp was still off, the room eerily silent. I could feel the cold draft from the open window, the curtains fluttering gently as if taunting me. I backed away slowly, trying to shake off the dread that clung to me. I needed answers, but first, I needed to calm down. I headed towards the common room, hoping to find some solace or at least another person to share my fear with. As I reached the common room, I found it empty. The clock on the wall ticked ominously, each second feeling like an eternity. I sank into the couch, trying to steady my breathing, but my mind replaying the scene repeatedly. With a deep breath, I turned and forced myself to walk back down the corridor, each step echoing in the silence. As I approached my room, the door creaked open on its own, revealing the dark, empty space within. Summoning every ounce of courage, I stepped inside. The air was heavy with a sense of foreboding, and the shadows seemed to dance along the walls. I reached for the light switch, and the light was turned on normally. I was relieved. I turned on the radio and forced myself to stay awake. It was about 1 a.m. Gratefully, no strange things were happening. I couldn't control my eyes to stay awake, so I drowned to sleep. Suddenly, in the darkness, I heard a whisper. "Welcome back," it said, and I felt the chill of a cold hand on my shoulder. But this time, I didn't run. I turned to face it, determined to confront whatever nightmare had invaded my life. The figure stepped into the faint moonlight filtering through the window, and I could see its face more clearly. It was familiar, yet ethereal, like a reflection in a foggy mirror. It wasn't just any spirit. It bore a striking resemblance to my roommate. Who are you?" I asked, my voice trembling, yet firm. The figure's expression softened and spoke in a haunting, and sorrowful voice. I am Amina's spirit, the part of her that clings to this world. My heart raced as the pieces fell into place. My roommate Amina had been acting strangely, disappearing and returning at odd hours. Could it be that she had an unseen companion all along? Where is she? I demanded with fear and worry intertwining. She is in between, the spirit replied. She met with a tragedy, an accident on the way back to this place. Her body lies in a hospital, trapped in a slumber. Why are you here? I asked. I am here because she is caught between life and death. She needs you to help her find her way back. It whispered, its voice laced with urgency. I nodded, understanding the weight of the task ahead. How can I help? The spirit gestured towards the desk where my phone lay. You must visit her, speak to her, remind her of who she is and what she meant to you, and recite prayers for her. Only then can she choose to return. With that, the spirit began to fade, leaving me alone in the room once more. The shadows receded and the air grew lighter as if a burden had been lifted. I suddenly woke up and regained my senses. It was just a dream. I looked at the clock on the wall and it was 6 a.m. That morning, I asked a friend, Li Ping, who was in the common room, whether she had seen my roommate. What a shocking reply! A chill ran down my spine. I learned from Li Ping that my roommate was indeed in an accident yesterday and is in the hospital. So the dream was real. It doesn't seem to make sense at all, wasn't it? I quickly made my way to the hospital, remembering the night's encounter and the dream still fresh in my mind. I found my roommate in a quiet room, surrounded by the hum of machines. She looked peaceful, yet there was a fragility in her that made my heart ache. I sat beside her, reciting prayers for her, recounting stories of our time together, our shared moments of laughter and camaraderie. As I spoke, I could feel a connection forming, a bond that transcended the physical world. Days turned into weeks, and I visited her regularly, sharing stories and encouragement. Slowly, she began to show signs of waking, her fingers twitching, her eyes fluttering open. When she finally awoke, it was with a gasp, as if she had returned from a long journey. She looked at me, confusion giving way to recognition, and a smile spread across her face. I heard you, Amina said, her voice hoarse but filled with gratitude. I smiled back, relieved and thankful that she had returned. We never spoke of that night, but we both knew our bond had deepened, forged in the crucible of fear and friendship. Though the spectre of the past lingered in our memories, it served as a reminder of the strength we found in each other.
This story illustrates the power of friendship and compassion through Yanti's efforts to help her roommate, Amina, who is caught between life and death after an accident. Yanti faces her fears and bravely connects with Amina, showing that love and support can transcend physical boundaries. Overall, this story underscores the significance of empathy, courage, and the unbreakable bonds of friendship, even in the face of supernatural challenges. Well, that's all we have for today. Once again, I am Wraith. Thank you for listening, and I will see you on the next episode of Late Night Mysteries.